Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again where we take a look at the independent wrestling scene. It's getting more and more exciting. It is thriving right now. All kinds of stuff going on. We're going to have Kevin Hawk recap our upcoming events. We have no results this week, but what shows do we have coming up, Mr. Kevin Hawk?
I had a flashback to Fantasy Warfare. I thought you were going to say, we have no idea what they are.
It's true.
You don't know what
I'm just guessing what the events are at this point.
You're about to find out, though.
Shit.
I'm just guessing at this point what the matches are.
Okay.
No, we have the Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, the 14th.
The 14th.
CZW's Deja Vu. Knowing that we've got the Ohio is for Killers going against the Nation of Intoxication for the tag belts, and then the main event, the No Ropes Barbed Wire match between Matt Tremont and Stockade. On the 20th, AIW's Gauntlet for the Gold, their number one contenders Royal Rumble match. Ray Monroe versus Johnny Gargano, and Ricky Shane Page versus Too Cold Scorpio.
That's going to be awesome.
And then AAW presents Epic, their 11-year anniversary, on the 21st. Knowing that Eddie Kingston's going to defend the title against Silas Young, and Ohio's for Killers are going to defend the tag team titles against Zero Gravity.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
And then in April, we have the PWG Don't Sweat the Technique. A lot of stuff going on. World's Cutest Tag Team comes back to PWG.
Awesome.
Non-title match against the Beaver Boys. And then the PWG title on the line. Roderick Strong defends against Zack Sabre Jr.
All right. Is that it for upcoming shows?
Yeah, let's talk about some stuff that's relevant in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, let's transition from upcoming shows because also on Saturday we have a Ring of Honor's Conquest Tour, their TV tapings. It's going to be in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. Matt Sydal was originally supposed to face Jay Briscoe for the ROH World Championship, but
he died.
No, he did not. He suffered an injury. It was originally thought to be a concussion, but it's more so he's got some pain in his neck, and so he's not cleared to wrestle. So instead of putting someone else into the world title match, they've decided to bring back the Proving Ground match, which is this is new to me. So I like the concept here. Do you want to?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, it's a kind of a thing that you see every now and again happen on TV. The idea is, hey, you're going to face the champion, and if you win, you're automatically the number one contender.
Yeah. The idea is if you can beat the champion, you get a title match within the next 60 days. But they're not going to start off immediately putting someone against Jay Briscoe.
No.
We're actually going to have a fatal four-way match where Roderick Strong, Mark Briscoe, Matt Taven, and Silas Young are going to vie for contendership to face Jay Briscoe.
I'm excited Silas Young is back in the swing of things here.
So this is an interesting combination of styles here. I mean, this is four very different guys, and I'm really interested to see any of them get a title shot against Jay Briscoe. But
not guaranteed either.
Not guaranteed. They have to win this match and then defeat Briscoe to get that title match.
And it's been a long time since Briscoe's been defeated.
Yeah, he's gone undefeated for over 2 years now. So as far as singles matches go, so yeah, it's not going to be easy to take the title away from him. We also have Proving Ground matches for the tag team titles and the ROH TV title. RPG Vice, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta will be facing Red Dragon. If they can defeat the tag team champions, they will get a tag team title match within the next 60 days.
Should be a good match.
And Cliff Compton will be taking on Jay Lethal. If Cliff Compton can defeat Jay Lethal, he will be the number one contender for the ROH TV title.
Wake up, Jay. Time to die!
The one other match that is signed to take place at this show, Samoa Joe will take on Unbreakable Mike Elgin.
Yeah, Samoa Joe versus the Man Baby.
That's going to be the Man Baby.
I think Michael Elgin looks kind of like a Man Baby.
He does kind of look like a Man Baby. Jesus. Continuing from that, ROH, a couple of their guys they're going to be showing up at an XWA show on March 22nd. They were invited back by XWA. There was a match between Roderick Strong and Biff Busick, which Roderick Strong won. So Roderick Strong, Hanson, Michael Bennett, and Matt Taven will be at the XWA show on March 22nd. So they're kind of maybe doing an inter-promotional kind of feud thing.
Ring of Honor wrestlers on rent.
That's a hell of a group there, though.
Yeah, Strong, Hanson, and Kingdom.
The Kingdom. Yeah, so watch out, XWA.
I'll show up if Maria's going to be there with them.
No shit. The only other two things I have, Rey Mysterio is officially adding Junior back to the end of his name now that he's back on the Indy.
So stoked for this, man. Over the years, I've kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But when he first debuted, I was so offended that they dropped the Junior off of his name.
Yeah, a lot of people were because he isn't the original Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So to kind of have him take that spot, it bugged a lot of people. So he officially announced that he will be adding the Junior back to his name now that he's back on the Indies.
Yeah. What I heard from Ray on I think Chris Jericho's podcast was that Vince dropped the Junior because Vince himself is a junior, and he doesn't like that.
Interesting.
He doesn't like the term junior because being Vince McMahon Jr. He feels like
it's sort of
kind of belittling.
It's kind of like a nickname that you can poke fun. Hey, Junior.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's his personal daddy issues.
Yeah.
He won't let juniors around.
Vince, he likes to be in control of stuff like that.
And so, supposedly, on the same note, when Chris Jericho was calling everyone Junior, Vince went up to him and he's like, "That's a great insult." On that same note.
So Jericho might have ruined that for Rey Mysterio.
One more quick thing before you get to the main news story here.
I've got one. I got one more, but you can break in there if you want to.
Chikara has announced in their UK tour that's coming up here real quick. Icarus and Hollowicked for the Grand Championship has been signed for their England show, and in Wales, NRG versus the Devastation Corporation. I wanted to say the Wrecking Crew. But that's an
acceptable answer.
Yeah, it's like a subsidiary of the Wrecking Crew.
That works.
Has been signed for the Wales show for the Campeones de Parejas.
All right.
So we know their overseas tour. They're doing 6 or 8 shows, something like that.
Yeah,
in the course of
I think it's 6.
5 days or something like that.
16.
And we have both titles being defended over there.
Very cool. My last little bit of news: Alberto El Patron is expected to be out of wrestling for a while. He recently had a partial quad tear at a show. He was supposed to face Brian Cage at a AAA show this Sunday, Rey de Reyes, but unfortunately he will not be able to make it to that show. There's no timetable as far as how long he's supposed to be out. It's just he's expected to be out for a while because, we know from how long Triple H was out from a full quad tear. If he's out for 8 or 9 months, we could probably expect Alberto to be out 4 to 5-ish.
Yep.
But that is it for these.
Just keeping in mind, Triple H came back early.
True.
And, not that I'm trying to put Del Rio down, but Triple H came back early and is a tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, we don't really know. The 4 to 5 is, an estimate.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we don't have an actual time when we can expect him back.
It really all depends on the severity of the tear.
Yeah.
A lot of factors go into the severity of the tear, whether or not he decides to fix it naturally, let it heal on its own, or get surgery to fix it.
Yeah.
How intense he's going to be on his physical therapy, rehabilitation schedule. This could be...
And even after it heals, how comfortable he feels getting right back into things.
Yeah, because that's... Like Triple H said, that's something that usually ends careers.
Yeah.
So, we hope for a speedy recovery for Alberto El Patron.
We like you, man.
It's good to see him on the Indies now, because he's actually able to let loose, and so that's probably why he got this injury.
Do some pretty rad stuff.
But let's move on to the big issue that's been brewing.
This is the elephant in the room.
It's been the talk of the town, so to speak, in the wrestling world for the last good week and a half, I think. A lot of allegations coming out towards Bill Demott, who was the head trainer at NXT,
now former head trainer.
The Performance Center. He recently stepped down and resigned from the company. Matt Bloom, a.k.a. Jason Albert, a.k.a. Tensai, a.k.a. whatever else you want to call him.
So many names.
A-Train, Albert, Giant Bernard.
Prince Albert, whatever you want to call him. He has stepped in as interim head trainer for the Performance Center. I think they're looking to get someone to take that spot, but he's going to take it for the time being.
Yeah. But
we've had allegations coming out of every which way as far as Bill Demott is concerned.
Yeah, a lot of different things being said. Different stories, different people.
Yeah.
Different levels of severity. I'm chalking a lot of it up to he said, she said type of things.
Yeah.
I was saying in a conversation I was having with these guys earlier, it's that a lot of people trying to ride the wave of whoever's trying to be the star of the show sort of deal. It happens a lot in sports when an athlete gets some sort of, if like a star basketball player gets accused of something, or in politics when something happens and a politician is accused of something.
Like Tiger Woods.
Then, everyone comes, like, one person stands up and says something, and everyone comes out of the woodworks with big or small stories and just kind of piles them on.
Yeah.
Who can tell which is true, what's not? I mean, in my opinion, everything at the Performance Center, there's cameras all over that place.
Yeah.
So if these stories are true, there's got to be substantial backup.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like no one has anything to gain by coming out with these stories. Like, they're not going to be, other than like getting there, like, hey, I'm here also. Like, no one has anything to gain with this, because like, with giving the benefit of the doubt, assuming this has been going on and WWE's turned a blind eye to it, people who have already been through the system and kicked out, they're the ones speaking out. It's no one currently in the system.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, if it is happening, the reason is they don't want the hammer to come down on them for being like, hey, I'm here, this happens, and then being like, well...
Yeah, I'm the guy that got Bill Demott kicked out.
So no one in the system is going to speak up. People already out of the system, they're not going to get any favor back by WWE for saying, hey, it sucked out of the Performance Center.
Yeah, by the way, your head trainer's a douchebag.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say I believe every story, but I am inclined to believe that if these people who have nothing to gain are stepping up and saying something, that there's some overreach of power going on down there.
Yeah, the first person to come out was a guy named Austin Mattelson. He was the first one. He said other former development workers accused Demott of physical and verbal abuse during their time with the company. Even though WWE has said they've investigated the situation and found no evidence of this happening, there's been 3 or 4 different people that have come forward with allegations similar to what Mattelson said.
Yeah, I know that some people posted about it sort of anonymously on Reddit, but like got it verified with the moderators, because I'm the one who does the Wrestling Rundown page on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of them, I think assumed to be Rocket Khan based on how her story lined up, said that like Demott would do these things, but when the office would come down, he would like completely change his act.
Oh.
Where like, it was like, specifically with her, she came in and Demott said, if she's only going to make it to the WWE over my dead body. This is all what she said. I'm not saying 100% this is what went down. But she's only making it over my dead body. And wouldn't like really train her, would really ignore her. But then when, like, Triple H or someone would come in to see how they're progressing, he'd let her wrestle unprepared and give her time to go over a match with someone, but then change her opponent on her. Stuff like that, specifically to make her look bad. And so he could be like, hey, I'm doing everything I can, but she's not getting it in their eyes.
So he's being accused of sabotaging.
Yeah. It's the idea that he's acting differently toward management, so that when people do step up and say something, he still looks good, and they look like they're just complaining.
Yeah, the other main thing is the verbal abuse he's given people.
Yeah.
There was, I can't remember the guy's name. He was Indian, and a lot of people were talking about how Bill Demott used to call him a terrorist, tell him that he has he's not going to make it in the business. He needs to go back to building bombs, and it's stuff like that. It's like, I mean, I can only imagine what that would feel like being directed at me.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go back to building bombs?
I never built a bomb though.
Alright, so now you know how it feels.
You're kind of a dick.
Directed at you.
You're kind of a dick.
Yeah, I know.
That
ain't new.
But okay, and as evil as this sounds, there are some people that are just, they obviously don't get what's going on here, because here's one a tweet from former NXT or former WWE Developmental System guy Malik Amari actually tweeted out after Bill Demott stepped down. He says, I'm happy. Well, actually, his grammar is terrible. So his tweet is actually, am happy you stepped down. You were nothing but a fat fucking piece of shit bully.
Yeah.
That's taking step backs there, dude. That's why, if all these people are coming out and, like, talking about all these terrible things that this person said, why would you publicly say terrible things back? That doesn't fix the situation. That just makes you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. Just my theory about why so many people are coming out. Because I'm kind of on the other side of this than Kevin Hawk, where, like, I don't think it's necessarily, and I'm not going to say everyone, or some people aren't doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's necessarily people like, oh, well, if he's saying something, then I'm going to say something to your attention. It's like, if Bill Demott was sabotaging people and, like, making them look bad in the eyes of the company, and, like, actively doing stuff to discredit them when they spoke out, if more and more people start speaking out, then that's going to give more of a safe zone to speak out. Mm-hmm. Like, more people are going to feel they can because, like, well, look at this story. I have a similar story. This happened to me. Well, this happened to me. And then once enough voices are heard, something's going to happen, like Bill Demott stepping down.
Yeah, and he wasn't forced out. He made the decision to step down because he was
basically they had the closed door meeting.
Yeah.
Before the last takeover between him and Triple H.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And basically no one knows what was said behind the closed doors, but the idea behind it was that Triple H basically gave him the ultimatum: we can fire you, or we can let you.
Yeah.
Step down on your own accord.
Oh, okay.
And
him
do it on your own.
Him stepping down. Well, it got to the point with where whether these allegations are true or not, it got to the point where WWE had to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And giving him the chance to step down saves face for the company and is a chance to try to save face for Bill Demott. In that it's like, look, in that it helps take away the fault of the company and makes Bill Demott look like maybe he wasn't going to as far as extremes as he said, because he's like, look, these allegations aren't true, but to avoid backlash, I'm going to step down.
Yeah.
Whether they're true or not, it's...
Yeah, and that's kind of a sort of a helpful move for the developmental center in general, too. Because now, okay, hey, all these stories come out, about how Bill Demott's unfair and judgmental and this and that, and that's gonna, if so many people see these stories, that's gonna dissuade me from wanting to go train under the guy.
Exactly. And even, now they stepped down. WWE did give him a severance package as far as resigning from the company, and they are expecting lawsuits towards the company because of whether it was physical or verbal abuse.
Yeah.
There could be any number of cases coming towards the WWE, but they're kind of preparing for that because they understand that obviously if there's multiple people coming out now.
Let's be honest, WWE is no stranger to lawsuits.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, I know Bruce Pritchard or Dr. Tom has posted a blog about his feelings towards the situation as far as like the investigation goes. Lance Storm posted on his Facebook page, his ideas. There's a lot of people weighing in on. There's a lot of people even backing up Bill Demott.
Bill Demott's been in the business for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to prevalence in the business in the early to mid 90s in WCW. And that's before, that's like, how everybody has their journey up to the big leagues. That was after his journey up to the big leagues. This guy's been in the wrestling business for decades.
Yeah.
And my credit to the man is whether or not he has these unethical practices at the developmental center or not. He's been the head trainer for quite a while now. And, looking at the current crop of guys in developmental and the NXT system and the guys who are getting called up to the main roster, what he's doing is working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be the biggest thing now is the fact that he's officially gone. We're gonna see what Albert has to offer as far as head trainer, and if once they do find an official head trainer, it'll be interesting to see what direction these the developmental talent take.
Yeah, my favorite bit to come out of Albert being the head trainer so far, I can't remember who tweeted it, but he was giving his first seminar, and someone who was there tweeted out, 15 minutes in and no one's been called a fag yet, things are already looking better.
Yeah. My personal views, I don't take too kindly to negative words thrown at me, so don't tell me to go back to building bombs because I don't appreciate it. I do. Go fuck yourself. Delayed reaction. Personally, when I'm in a working situation, I do appreciate positive reinforcement. Yeah. It does give me more motivation.
Oh, I know I do.
Yeah.
I know I'm the same.
99% of people will react way better to positive reinforcement than negative reinforcement.
And so, taking that into consideration, I think if I was trying to be a superstar in WWE, especially if I'm trying to get, if I'm trying to pave my way towards being at WrestleMania or something like that, I would want to, I wouldn't feel more inclined to get better if I was constantly being told I suck.
Yeah.
Or being berated for my race or my sexual preference or anything like that. Regardless of what.
Yeah, fuck you for being straight.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be. No, I'm not gonna. No, we're not gonna go there.
You started, and I was like, all the jokes,
all the jokes.
Nah, I'm not.
So are you saying that what he started to say got you excited?
A little bit.
Weird.
My inner Bill Demott was getting really worked up. Oh, I'm already making jokes about this.
This is bad.
No, I really want to be on, I don't know why, I really want to be on Bill Demott's side for this.
You have a respect for the man, so I understand.
I've been a huge fan of Bill Demott.
Yeah.
Throughout his career, because, how many people can you say have made a career on television of, being able to follow up a gorilla press slam with a top rope moonsault?
Right.
Not that many. And the fact that he's been involved with the training of WWE superstars for as long as he has, because, you have to look back at like the early seasons of Tough Enough in like the late 90s, early 2000s. He was there in those training sessions, you know? So, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have all this history in the company, you know? So, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because if he's been in for so long, why just now is this happening, sort of stuff.
Yeah.
At the same time, I mean...
Well, he has been accused of this before. This first came to light years ago, and then didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because back then it wasn't as... You know, especially in the society we're in now. You know, stuff like this is going to be brought more towards the light than it would have been 5, 6, 7 years ago.
And plus, just like where wrestling is now, like, historically, and still today to whatever extent they can, wrestling is very hush-hush about their practices.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, they don't talk about what goes on behind the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
So even if there's this toxic environment, people with that old school mindset are going to be like, okay, but we'll handle it between us. Mm-hmm. You don't need to go tell everyone because this is wrestling. We take care of our own.
Yeah, and now that we're in the social media era, you know, this is the time where, you know, if you're going to try and drop that bomb, this is where you're going to get the attention.
Yeah, everything's so public now that it's going to take off a lot easier now with the accessibility that everybody has.
Yeah, rumors regardless of their truity or falsehood, either way, towards anything in any business at all, are spread 10,000 times faster, you know, which anything, no matter whether it's true or not, once you reach such a level of mass of people reading it, it becomes true anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's one thing that that Lance Storm hit on in his post on Facebook is that people who aren't even near the situation are going 100% on either side of the story when they have nothing to base it upon.
Right.
You know, and it's unfair for people to take such a harsh stand on either side of the situation. When us just as fans, we can't say I'm 100% on Bill Demott's side or I'm 100% on the developmental talent side. Yeah. We can't say that because we're not there.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I didn't see anybody get hit. I didn't see anybody get yelled at. I didn't see anybody not get hit.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody not get insulted.
Yeah, so we ourselves cannot pass judgment on these people because we have nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah, the last note I kind of wanted to mention, and I can't think of a good way to segue back toward it, so I'm just going to say it.
Let's take this. Let's make our final notes.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Segment.
That like with you wanting to be on Bill Demott's side and with those defending him, I'm not trying to pass judgment. He's 100% guilty. I'm just going benefit of the doubt. Let's say he is. Though those close to him who are still trying to defend him, there's a tendency to want to defend your friends and see the best in them. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's been in the business for a very long time. He's made a lot of connections. So, like, regardless of how harsh he's been, people who consider him his friend and know the other side of him are going to be like, okay, but this, and that. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe, maybe you just, you took it the wrong way. Maybe you just need some thicker skin. Because, I mean, let's face it, like, and we are on the internet. I'm not making this comparison lightly, and I'm not trying to make this direct comparison. I just want to use an analogy. Hitler was objectively a pretty bad guy, but he loved his dog. I'm sure his dog thought he was a great guy.
Yeah.
That's... As crazy as that sounds, I completely understand it.
You know?
Well, I mean, even, to broaden it from the dog,
Yeah.
You know, he led a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously, yeah, it's a thing. There's always going to be people who are going to side with you if they know you well enough, if you've convinced them enough. You're always going to have somebody that's going to have your back.
And let me get this straight. I'm not trying to say Bill Demott is Hitler.
Yeah. We're not, no. Hawk, don't do that. Stop it.
Conspiracy theory. I don't know if it was...
conspiracy.
I guess it's a big Bill Demott, like,
no, it's just, you know, the Jews, they hated Hitler. His dog was like, well, why don't you guys just show him your belly? He likes that.
Okay, this now is just getting weird.
Yeah,
Kevin Hawk, final thoughts.
I mean, I'm really torn. Like I said, I'm favoring Bill Demott, but I'm saying it's like a 60-40 favor.
Yeah.
I'm not leaning really hard in either direction. For some reason, one of the main reasons why I do go leaning in the direction of Bill Demott is he had some positive hang in there tweets from JR, and for some reason I think JR is like a super good judge of character.
Yeah, JR. Well, he didn't sign AJ, so.
Yeah, to me it's like I always want to be like, yeah, well if JR is on your side, you can't do anything wrong.
No, I generally agree with JR.
On the other hand, you know, this, like saying this is the era of social media, this is the era of technology, and I want to see a cell phone video, a picture, a sound bite, something, you know, because if anything like that, if the one thing would pop up that I can see,
that I've seen and heard you kind of just point out, was a little kind of innocent thing at the time, but thinking back on it, these allegations of an unsafe environment, the one thing that I saw that lends credit to this is the last season of Tough Enough. He had the contestants do squat on the ropes while people ran the ropes. And after that, you yourself said that looked really unsafe.
Yeah.
So, you know, that does lend credibility to him not cultivating the safest training environment.
Yeah.
At the same time, in that situation, if it was super unsafe, why would they have put it on TV?
Yeah. Well, no one got hurt.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
it can be my thing thinking about that. It can be unsafe, but if nothing went wrong, then it's fine to air.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
So like what I'm saying right now, I'm 60-40 in favor of Demott right now. At the same time, show me one 5-second video clip, and you'll turn me 80-20 in the favor of the developmental guys. Because as a guy who, you know, through different jobs I've had and different hobbies I've had, I've trained people, I've helped people, and I've been trained by people, and I have been helped by people, and I know, you know, what it feels like to have a shitty person who's looking over your shoulder and who's insulting you versus a really nice guy with positive encouragements and stuff like this the whole time through. And so, you know, if this is a true thing, then, you know, it does need to get out because negativity leads to an unsafe work environment, even if it has nothing to do with what he's training, even if it has nothing to do with the spots or drills they're doing. It just, you know, the negativity and the wrong mindset, especially when you're doing things like a suplex where you're holding somebody else upside down 6 feet in the air. You know, you're taking the lives of other people into your hands. And if you're not in the right mindset when you're doing this, it becomes very dangerous. So, yeah, if this is a thing, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah.
The Bill Demott stepped down.
Yeah. I'm very neutral in this just because I take the standpoint of I have no idea what happens at that performance center. I have no connection to anyone. I don't have any... I don't have friends. I don't have family that has trained under Bill Demott, so I do not have anyone to really take the side.
If these allegations are true, be very grateful for that fact.
Yeah,
you don't have friends and family
exactly.
under.
But I also you saying that you're very much in favor of Bill Demott, especially with
not very much.
Well, you're in favor, like especially having the positive tweet from JR. Two of the people that have stepped up and have been on the side of Bill Demott have been Tommy Dreamer and Chris Jericho. I mean, that's some power in your corner.
Yeah.
And with Chris Jericho and Tommy Dreamer being two of my favorites in the business, I feel inclined to be on Demott's side, but at the same time, I can't base it solely on the fact that I like Chris Jericho and I like Tommy Dreamer, because I'm not siding with them. I need to, I need that evidence of either side.
It's a hard...
Well, and what it becomes, if this is true, becomes you need to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Like, just because you like these people and what they do doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to be right or in the right.
Yeah, it's just one of these problems that it's so hard to remain in the background and looking at all the details en masse and not... It's natural for something like this in the public eye to want to pick a side.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm trying really hard not to lean either way. 60-40, pretty close.
I'm being Cesaro. I'm staying neutral.
See,
switch a lot.
So, it's either way, bad or not, or true or not, it's a bad story right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Either way, it's negative ramifications are coming from this, with the silver lining that if these are true, Bill Demott stepping down will enhance things in the Performance Center.
Yeah. But let's steer away from the negativity. Post down in the comments what you think about the story. Let's keep the conversation civil. Give us some thoughts why you think certain people are right, why certain people are wrong. Be sure to comment down there. We're going to have a second part to this video where Kevin Hawk is going to give us 5 matches not to miss intergender in light of what happened about a week or so ago between Chris Dickinson and Kimber Lee. So be sure to move on to that. And
what happened with Biff Busick?
It's a long story.
Oh, yeah.
He was telling people to go build bombs. It's a messed up situation, and they were all women.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lie. Don't
sue him now.
No,
Biff Busick.
no,
yes,
stop it. I like.
Or is it liable? One's written and one's spoken. I don't remember which is which.
It's neither. Shut up. Go to part 2 so you can watch 5 matches not to miss with Kevin Hawk.